UNICEF wall calendar tacked up inside the broom closet did, or the kitchen drawer filled with nothing but batteries that rolled freely when you opened it. The Mellows' family life was also defined by a song, which had often been sung on vacations. For years, as they barreled along expressways toward colonial Williamsburg with its candle dippers and loom sitters, or else toward a sleepy, shabby resort in the Poconos called the Roaring Fire Lodge, with everyone and their stuff packed tight into the Volvo station wagon, they would sing it. "Oh, we're the Mellows," they sang. "Some girls and some fellows." And then they would continue in such a vein, using names of other families from the neighborhood. "We're not the Gambles, 'cause we'd be covered with brambles." Or, "We're not the Dryers, 'cause we'd be liars." Or, "We're not the Rinslers, 'cause we'd be—" A stunned silence descended upon the car while everyone tried to think their way out of this one. "Tinslers!" shrieked Claudia, the youngest, and though this made no sense, the whole family paused for a moment, the older children making derisive groans that were quickly evil-eyed by the parents, and then they all gave in and sang Claudia's rhyme. Every family in the world had its own corny, pointless song, or a set of ignored books, or a wall calendar, or a rolling battery drawer, all of which resembled, but only in part, those of other families. These details had been introduced into the Mellow household long ago, and they were there for good. Here in the den, Michael Mellow leaped onto the couch barefoot, summoned silently, and there, second shelf from the top, he found it. The book was white-spined, hard-backed, thick, sizzling, with a colophon of a mermaid gracing the spine, hand on hip, bifurcated tail flipped up in insouciance. It was the mermaid herself who seemed to be speaking to him. What she said was this: "Pick it up, Michael. Go on, don't be afraid. You have nothing to fear but fear itself." This last line was one that he had learned in social studies that very week. Pulling hard, he yanked the book from its vacuum, glanced at his spoils briefly in terror, and then tucked it under his shirt, feeling its glossy surface against his bare, matte skin, forgetting the mini-stapler forever, forgetting the step-by-step progression of egg osmosis. Then he clambered up 2 flights of stairs and disappeared into the murk of his bedroom for 1 solid hour. What he saw in the book was something that Michael Mellow began to realize during that hour he could not tolerate alone. He would have to bring Holly in on it, for he often brought her in when something was simply too difficult or perplexing or exciting or opaque to process on his own. She was older. She knew things. She had a worldly, cynical perspective that he lacked. But then he thought, no, it can't be just Holly, for she would think it was strange, even perverse, for her brother to invite her to sit with him and look at this thing. So he would have to invite the 2 others to look at it too, and it could become an important moment of sibling closeness and eternal bond. That was what he would do. For if your parents write a book like this, one that's just burst out into the world, there's no way you can read it on your own and not discuss it, just as there's no way you can snub it entirely, act cool and indifferent in its presence. There's no way you can exist in the same house with that book, walking by it in the den while it's up there burning on the shelf, and tell yourself, I'm not ready for this. Michael sat on the bed in his room, book open on his lap. Sweat had formed in the notch above his upper lip, and he licked it quickly away, but already this innocent gesture seemed somehow sexual. And so did the taste of human broth in which bodies were basted. His own sweat had taken on a new quality, and so had his tongue, which seemed thick and alive. What would be next? His thumb pad? The knob of his knee? Was everything that belonged to the body up for grabs and reinterpretation? A little while later, he returned the book to its proper place and said nothing to anyone. But already he had set his plan in motion, and now he waited. The following day, early in the afternoon, Michael said to the others, "They're gone. I heard the car." It was a wet Saturday, and they were all corralled inside the house. The whole suburb of Wontaka seemed to be in an early hibernation, with children from other families trapped and stunned in their own homes, everyone inexplicably made helpless in the face of rain or a falling thermometer. In summer, this town knew how to react, knew how to break out the timed sprinklers and sparklers and domed backyard grills and show a little spirit.